And I have to say, this came out amazing. Like, I blew away even my own expectations. And I'm like, I don't even like to paint flowers. How is this coming out of me? And so thank you guys for stopping by and seeing what it is that I've created. I hope you guys like seeing how I created this painting.
I already have this sketch ready to go. Kind of turn it around so you guys can have a look at it. And it is basically some very awesome flowers. So I'm noticing that I prefer using red pencils to draw with watercolor for some reason. So I'm just sticking with that from now on. And let's get started. Let's see where this goes. I'm going to start off by using some drawing gum. And I use this just to block off some of the whites. I'm not skilled enough yet to figure out where they should be and where they shouldn't be, so I just use this to save time. I decided right now I'm just going to put the highlights at the top and not stress too much about where else they go, since the whole process of this is just me trying to rediscover the love of the medium and where exactly I want to go with this. Originally, getting back into art hasn't been the easiest process for me this year. I started my art journey at the beginning of 2023, trying to get into a studio space that would allow me to be more open with how I could create. Working from home just wasn't a logical thing for me at the time. So I was fortunate enough to find a space that I could grow into. And originally, I started out doing my modern batik art pieces, which were great because I had not done any modern batik pieces, which is basically wax, ink, and dyes on canvas in over a decade. So you can only imagine my excitement, frustration, anxiety, just diving back in to that process again. I felt liberated, honestly, and I thought to myself, what was I doing with my life? Why had it been so long since I had picked up a paintbrush and painted something from my heart? But even though it was nice to just jump back into that process, I felt like there was a lot of pressure because now I had this space. I had to use it. I had to create something in the space that I now spending all this money to have, right? And I felt like the pressure of trying to create something worth creating actually hindered the creative process, especially since you're just diving back into that process again. I would recommend, based off of my personal experience, is to maybe start off getting into your creative process early. And I don't mean if you want to start with paintings, you can start with paintings. But if you can't, but maybe just start with sketching. In October, they have the Inktober challenge where you have to draw a picture every day. I recommend starting there first before diving into a full space of artwork, especially if you know that this is not something that you want to grow into. I knew I wanted to grow into this, so this is kind of why I took the leap and threw myself out there and did this. But it didn't make it any easier. And with some medical challenges and hiccups that arrived throughout the year, that hindered my ability to be in the studio as often as I wanted to be. So I felt even more pressure now to be in the studio. So when I did come, I felt blocked. Instead of feeling creative and feeling like I could channel from my imagination and all the things that I wanted to create that had been like packed away, waiting to come out, I felt like I couldn't start. I felt crippled. I felt stagnant. I felt so much doubt. I was like, did I make the right choice? Is this really what I did all of this for? And that type of negative mindset, negative thought of way of thinking was just making the process even harder to get into. So when my friend posted about 100 Days of Flowers, which is a challenge to draw 100 flowers. Of course, you're supposed to do it one each day, right? But hey, life happens and you don't always get to do the challenge as you want to. But I decided I wanted to still stick with the challenge, but I would do it in my own way. I would still do the 100 flowers, but I would just share with you the process of me creating those flowers, and this is one of the flowers that I've created for that. But to make it more harder, or not even harder, but just to challenge myself more to get out of my box, I decided to use a watercolor media because I hadn't used watercolor in years. So I thought, you know what? I keep seeing people creating watercolor flowers. I want to try myself. I want to put some effort in. I hate flowers. No, okay. Maybe I can't, hate is a strong word. I hate drawing flowers, but I actually found this process very liberating. It was liberating because it definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone. My comfort zone is faces, drawing people's expressions. That's where I feel more at home. So having to rethink how I look at the world through drawing flowers was definitely a necessary skill to learn.
So right now, this is where I'm at with the first experimental piece. So far, so good. I'm happy with it.
When I got to this stage, I was actually very surprised with the results. I was like, wow, okay, this is coming together really well. I wonder how far I can push it. I looked online for watercolor techniques just to see what else I could do with it. I decided, you know what, let's go darker. I would treat it more like a batik painting and just continue to add more darker and darker shades and see how it would evolve from there. I was actually really scared of messing it up because it was turning out so good. I'm like, what if I fuck this up? It's perfect right now. But I told myself, no, don't listen to that fear. Instead, let's see how far we can push this. This is meant to be an experiment to push you outside of your comfort zone. If you get bogged down by fear at the beginning, then how are you going to experiment fully and see what this painting could really become? So with great fear, I just continued pushing forward. I was like, okay, we'll just start with another dark layer. So I added in a nice burgundy, dark purple burgundy to it and said, you know what, maybe this is where I'm going to stop it. Maybe this is the end of the road. But honestly, I was having so much fun at this point. I was like, wow, this is great. Of course, I'm still afraid of making it too muddy, making it too I don't know, we're just always afraid of making mistakes. I was afraid of making a mistake at this point, but I'm like, what is a mistake in art? There's no such thing. It's an abstract painting of a flower. Why am I afraid to make a mistake? It's not the end of the world if I make a mistake. I'll still have the painting. I'll just have it with a mistake now. So I decided I wanted to define the actual petals for the flowers since they weren't exactly standing out as much as I thought that they would. Also, I should mention that yes, there was a camera switch. I think I ran out of battery by the time the second day came around and I forgot to charge my phone. So that's why you get to see a nice little close-up from the side. I think one of the harder processes of filming videos is the actual act of filming videos. You know, you both have to worry about, is the camera gonna run out? Is the camera gonna run out of space before I finish this painting? Is my phone gonna run out of batteries before I finish this painting? Oh shit, I'm using my phone to film this video, and now I can't respond to any of my text messages if something comes in. I can't call anything. How do I change my music now that, or my Spotify music now that it's recording my video? All these things came up in the process of filming these things because they're like little small things you don't think about when you start trying to create content for art, trying to make art and share it with people. Because originally you just held all your art to yourself and you never put it out there. But now that you're putting it out there, you got to think about so many different things. And it is a lot of work, but at the same time, it is also kind of rewarding because you get to see how you came up with that concept. You get to see how the painting evolves just because you're documenting the process. What this process of sharing, recording, and creating work so people can see it has taught me is that documenting your work is necessary. It's actually a healthy thing, in my opinion. If you don't want to document all of it, that's fine, but I think it's good because sometimes you'll look back at your work and you'll be like, wow, I did that. Wow, I did that. Say you sell the painting, you'll always have a video of you creating it, right? So in a way, the art created while you're recording it, the video in itself becomes art itself. You know, it is the artist creating art through a video. So I don't know, man. I'm just talking bullshit right now, maybe. But yeah. It feels like a wonderful color explosion on the page right now. And I am really loving where this is going. I'm so excited at this point. I started trying to push myself from just doing the basic colors. I was just going to stick to the reds and the yellows, but I wanted to add a little bit more color, more abstraction, more freedom, more expressions, more everything. I was like, how much more can I add to this to just make it feel like an explosion on the page? I wanted to be something vibrant and just just when you see it, you just go That's basically what I was going for this, and I was so engrossed in what I was doing by this point where I was just, wow, okay, nothing else around me mattered. I was so focused in on just adding more, throwing in more, trying this, trying that, and just excited about all the results and the outcomes that were happening. And I was like, oh, this is what it was. This is the feeling. This is what I was waiting for all this time. Oh my God, yes, it was great. I was like, I felt like I could breathe again. I felt like I could live again. I felt like I could create in flow again, you know? I wasn't thinking at this point. I was just going. I was just adding. I was just doing. There wasn't anything to think about. Just, I like this color, add this. I like this color, add this. I like the, and just trying to figure out, maybe I can add it in this way. I added it in this way, so maybe I could change how I added it here. Would this blend well together? Would this harmonize well with this? And just keep doing that process. And that's kind of how I continued to keep building this painting, just not trying to think about what was right or what was wrong, just focusing more on like, oh wow, I'd really love to try this. You see here, this is when the excitement really started to hit. Because I saw this bright blue. It's like I think it's a royal blue. I'm not sure what color blue it is, and green gouache paint. And I thought, wouldn't this be great for this painting right now? Let me add it in. Let me outline this to give it a little bit more definition so it can pop out more. Add some green, throw in some highlights, add it all. It doesn't matter, just add it in. Okay, let's add in a little bit more detail with the green. Is it gonna work? Oh my God, it's working. Let's keep going. That's how excited I was becoming by this work. And I was mind boggled. I was like, I don't even like flowers. How did this even happen? Is this possible? Wow. I was excited. I was just, who wouldn't be excited? Look at it. It's beautiful. It's colorful. It's vibrant. It's exploding with colors off the page. It's inspired. I'd say this work is inspired. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm going to toot my own horn because I hate. At least I hated. Actually, maybe I should correct it. I hated painting flowers, drawing flowers, creating flowers. I like looking at them, smelling them, receiving them, but drawing and creating flowers was definitely not my thing. Not at all. But wow, what a process. This is what it looks like without the tape. It is amazing! And here's a close-up. Look at the colors, look at the greens, look at the blues, look at the vibrancy. I am honestly so enamored with this piece. You don't even know how I feel right now. It's just so awesome. And who knew a flower could take me here?
So you can keep up to date with any new posts I have and any more flowers that I have to share with you. If you guys like this, please sure to like and share if you think someone will enjoy the video. Thank you guys for dropping by to Tiana's Creative Studio. Bye. Have a great day, guys.